Welcome to my section on leading psychologically safe organizational change in a post-pandemic environment. In this section, we will review using emotional intelligence to lead organizational change with psychological safety. My name is Cassandra Couteau, and welcome to the presentation. Leading organizational change is a complex and often challenging task. In our post-pandemic healthcare environment, it is crucial for leaders to employ emotional intelligence and psychological safety to enhance successful organizational change. The pandemic has worsened healthcare professionals' mental health, whereas 87% feel burnout, 84% feel frustrated with administration, 77% feel unsupported, 61% feel unappreciated, and 58% have felt unsafe at work. These numbers are astonishing, and we wonder why change resistance is occurring. In this post-pandemic state, leaders can approach these issues with a psychologically safe environment that promotes empowerment. Psychological safety is positively influenced by predictive future events, sequential reasoning, and the team's ability to make collective decisions. Psychological safety was severely disrupted during the COVID-19 pandemic, as our teams did not have any of these qualities. We are still dealing with the after effects in our post-pandemic healthcare organizations. It is up to us as leaders to heal our teams to promote organizational change. There are several leadership styles, such as transformational leadership, authentic leadership, and ambidextrous leadership that employs emotional intelligent characteristics and behaviors that promote psychological safety. Psychological safety mediates the relationship between leadership and organizational change and commitment. The COVID-19 pandemic affected well-being to many healthcare professionals. An abundance of studies has noted that intense burnout and declining mental health have been apparent, all which have affected many healthcare organizations' ability to lead organizational change. The pandemic was a period with rapid, intense change with heightened uncertainty and immense stress. Healthcare professionals are burnt out and appear resistant to change. As leaders, how can we cultivate an organizational culture of psychological safety to promote organizational change? There are many strategies which we will discuss in this section. Post-pandemic leader and follower relationships are fragile. Failure to adopt leadership styles with emotional intelligence impinges on change. Prior to being able to lead effective change, self-awareness and reflections of your own emotions and how they affect your decisions and interactions is required. Leaders with emotional intelligence have characteristics that are needed in the post-pandemic organizational environment in order for leaders to have genuine, lasting change in organizations. A leader who employs emotional intelligence promotes a team who can freely express themselves and has a collaborative relationship where contributions are acknowledged and implemented. The relationship between the leader and their followers directly impacts perceived psychological safety. When leaders do not exhibit behavioral integrity, followers feel psychologically unsafe. Organizational change starts with leading starts with self, building trusting relationships, communication and transparency, and developing and acting on anticipatory skills. As a leader, role modeling vulnerability, inviting sharing, addressing incivility, acknowledging team member experience, and encouraging collaboration, as well as transparent communication, are all great strategies to enhance psychological safety within the team. When teams are psychologically safe, organizational change can occur. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed employee well-being, sense of commitment, and motivation. As a leader post-pandemic, sharing goals, including empathy, and leading with emotional intelligence can provide motivation and assist with navigating the challenges with post-pandemic organizational change. The pandemic has highlighted the importance of considering employee emotions, interests, values, and perspectives in order to understand and collaborate with organizational values to promote organizational change. In other words, emotionally intelligent leaders who understand what it takes to make our followers be receptive and ready for organizational change again. Using our emotional intelligence, we can utilize compassion when preparing employees for change. Show genuine care and interest in the employee well-being. A leader must understand the traumatic impact the pandemic had. Employing empathy to understand fears, anxieties, and concerns will help build trust and belonging. When employees feel heard and understood, they are more likely to be open to change. Throughout the pandemic, the levels of uncertainty and unpredictability provided psychologically unsafe environments. As leaders, we need to build back up the relationships with our followers to again create psychological safety. Emotional intelligence can help triumph over the challenges of COVID-19 when it comes to organizational change. Facilitating organizational change is done through open, transparent, multi-directional communication. Employees who are involved as key decision makers and have accessible and transparent communication by their leaders report that they are more likely to embrace change since they have awareness and input. Throughout the pandemic, the workplace was not psychologically safe, with affecting factors such as lack of insufficient knowledge about the disease, increased stressors in the workplace, lack of consistent communication, inadequate access to resources such as PPE, overwhelming workload, and poor support from leadership. In our post-pandemic environment, leaders must utilize effective communication during times of change, as well as develop psychologically safe teams that can enact on organizational change. In psychologically safe teams, creativity, communication, and patient safety are all enhanced, as quality improvement initiatives for positive change are often implemented. In order to facilitate psychological safety, we must create a supportive work culture to enhance healthcare provider resilience. Emotional intelligence, not only by the leader, but also by the employees, are a great strategy to employ. Using transformational leadership characteristics, such as active listening to address individual and team concerns and fears, as well as incorporating values and needs, are ways an emotionally intelligent leader can enhance psychological safety. Continuing to grow a collaborative relationship to provide a shared vision, motivate employees, and create a safe space for employees to feel heard, accepted, and recognized is a great way to reorientate the team post-pandemic, as the vision provides direction, inspiration, and unity. Anticipating reactions to change and planning how to manage those reactions are key factors in facilitating organizational change post-pandemic. Know your team and the individual differences, experiences, and trauma that has occurred in order to support teams through transition phases of change. Employees need confidence to speak up and introduce change. As we have been witnessing post-pandemic, this is an area that needs to be rectified. Leadership is important in enhancing divergent thinking. Ambidextrous leadership is the best style for change and innovation. Ambidextrous leadership has three elements: opening leader behaviors to foster exploration, closing leader behaviors to foster exploration, and temporal flexibility to switch between the two. Ambidextrous leadership is a combination of transformation and transactional leadership. Rapid changing environments compels leaders to be ambidextrous. While this rapidly changing environment was true in the pandemic, post-pandemic the levels of psychological safety are low, and employing other leadership tactics might be required to first enhance psychological safety. Psychological safety in the workplace can be measured through surveys. It is important to understand that an employee perceives psychological safety at both the team level and organizational level. From these results, the leaders can understand how they can best re-implement psychological safety in the workplace. A proven method of enhancing workplace psychological safety is employing authentic leadership. Leaders can work and adapt the four components of authentic leadership, improve self-awareness from feedback, and take action to make a psychologically safe environment for their employees. Psychological safety promotes employees' ability to display one's true self without any negative consequences or rejection. Organizations that create psychologically safe environments allow employees to express unique ideas and present conflicting ideas, which is beneficial for organizational change. Employees who have a psychological safety in the workplace also have high organizational commitment and are able to implement organizational change. Acknowledge and appreciate the efforts and contributions of your team members throughout the change process. Recognizing, acknowledging, and appreciation of the efforts and contributions of the employees, especially throughout the change process, can boost morale and reinforce psychological safety. Acknowledge and reward individuals and teams for their adaptability, resilience, and contributions during the change process. This reinforces a culture of psychological safety and encourages positive behaviors. In summary, utilizing emotional intelligence to lead organizational change with a focus on psychological safety involves understanding and managing your own emotions, empathizing with your team, promoting open communication, involving employees' decision-making, and creating a culture of trust and support. By doing so, you can increase the likelihood of a successful and sustainable change initiative. Incorporating emotional intelligence into your leadership style and fostering psychological safety within your organization will help your team adapt to post-pandemic changes more effectively and create a workplace where employees feel valued, supported, and empowered to contribute their best efforts. Understand that the process of organizational change and maintaining psychological safety is an ongoing effort. It is not a one-time project, but a continuous journey. In order to maintain long-term relationships with employees, we must employ emotional intelligence and psychological safety in practice. Psychological safety practices in the teams we lead is the foundation for successful organizational change. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and please visit our other sections.